Okay, hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of the Unlocked Show. In fact, this is actually the very last Unlocked Show of 2020. So I've got some of the amazing crew here with me today. The amazing Robin and Vickie Helm are on the show for our wrap up of the year. We thought we'd do this show a little bit different today. I thought we would grab these guys, put them on the show with me, and we would kind of uncover and unlock all of the good, the bad, the ugly, and some super exciting stuff that we have, I suppose, we've experienced in 2020. Needless to say, it has been a very tumultuous year with, for a lot of people, lots of ups and downs. But there's also been some really awesome stuff that that the team here at Metadigm and those who produce the Unlock Show we've experienced ourselves. So we wanted to kind of unleash all of that, share all of those learnings with you, and also tell you about some of the things that are going to be happening in 2021. So we absolutely have an exciting year ahead. Now, let me start with this. So I'm just going to, if you're here from the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life group, I want to say firstly, thank you so much for being inside of our group. We value you guys immensely. We love the fact that we have this amazing community on Facebook where we can share many shows. We have my show, Vickie's show, and other shows also coming out in 2021. So keep your eyes peeled for those. We've also had Scott Stevens on the channel over the last 12 months, and he's also shared some amazing things through his show, Another Perspective. Anyway, 2021 is going to hold some amazing stuff for us, and we are going to share all of that, lay it all out on the table. But also I want to get stuck into, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So sometimes, it's nice to share. Well, not always nice, but it's good to share some of the things that didn't go so well and some of the ugly things that have happened. Why do we do that? Because we want to make sure, we want to ensure that we're actually, we're real. Things happen to us too. So we jump on these shows, we show up, we be as positive as we possibly can. We give insightful information that provides value to all of our audience. But, behind the scenes, sometimes things don't always go to plan. And sometimes there are often there are near misses on a lot of things. So I want to start with this. Beginning of this year, who would have thought that the end of 2019, so this time last year, where, the things that were unfolding, who would have ever thought that the world would be going through what it has done in 2020? Nobody saw this coming. We never ever thought that it would have the amount of impact that it has had with the COVID-19, the pandemic around the world, massive disruptions to supply chains, obviously lots of people out of work. So just so much has happened this year. And when I reflect back on the year that was, and I think back to this time last year, or beginning of this year, actually, it was in February, I was actually over in the States at a conference. And every year I go to this particular conference, and it's funny because I think back now to what was going on in the news, and I can remember staying with a friend of mine, Minders Glover, who's also inside of our community. And I was staying with him before we went off to to this conference that we were going to, and his wife was talking about this, this outbreak that had happened in China, and that we all had to be really careful, and she gave us masks, and anyway we sort of all brushed it off and didn't think too much of it. And anyhow, I went over there and I stayed with a beautiful friend of mine, Maya McNulty. Some of you may have listened to Maya's interview that Vickie did with her on the Coffee Break show a few months back. And Maya, unfortunately, had been really hit really hard with COVID-19. She was one of the very first people to be hit with it when, the medical society was just sort of trying to figure out what this disease was and how to actually handle it. And poor old Maya had a really, really hard time with that. What I want to tell you is that I reflect back on that and think, boy, oh boy, how lucky I am, because not 3 weeks prior to my being struck down with COVID really badly, was I her roommate in a hotel in Nashville. So her and we were the only two. So you can imagine two girls in a room, you're sleeping you're sleeping, your beds are in very, very close proximity to one another. You're sharing everything together. So I very much look back at that and think how extremely lucky I was that could have absolutely have been me. So my heart goes out to Maya. I support her as much as I possibly can, and it's a very unfortunate thing that she is going through now. But I also know on the flip side of this that she's an extremely strong woman who is able to get through all of this, and the fact that her mind was so incredibly powerful, that's actually the thing that got her through that whole COVID situation. So I wanted to shout out to my friend Maya and just let her know that how much she means to me, and how much I respect her, and how much she is actually now making a difference to those who are COVID survivors. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that, because that could quite have easily have been me. So that's a very, very ugly situation that thankfully for me, I was able to dodge that bullet, but unfortunately, poor old Maya got hit with it.
I want to say something about that too, because I just think you just nailed it on the head with Maya. Maya took her mess and made it her message. She's now out helping COVID patients. She's now out in the world giving back to humanity. And, it takes somebody with guts and grit and determination. And she had long hauler syndrome. I think she spent 70 days on a ventilator, 70 days. I mean, that is just unbelievable. And her story is amazing. But she taught us how to come through the trenches of something that was so devastating. She taught us, she gave us that. And for that, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful because she taught me what it was like to really stand up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think, in Maya's story for this year, if we think about, often our mind can take over, and we can either have our mind take us over in a really positive way, or it can be in a not so positive way. And, working on that over the last, I've been doing that for the last, number of years, which has really been beneficial to me. But if you're somebody whom wants to have real success in 2021, I believe that starts from the inside. You start to transform.
Agreed.
And you build your strength from the inside out. And often what we see is that, and this is again something that I've learned, and I'm learning more and more of this, particularly throughout 2020, is that often people will look to the outside for that, for help, which is great. But you want to look for help from the outside to help you from the inside first, and then that will enable you to do whatever it takes, whatever you need to do externally to have success in every single area of your life. So I'm a big, big believer of that. And I know that that's what's helped me. And I certainly know after many, many conversations with Maya that has been the case for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk about, now we've kind of spoken about some of the not so great stuff. We've had COVID to go through. What are some of the things, Vickie and Robin, that you think have been, I suppose, paramount to the success that Metadigm Digital has been hugely successful in this year? We started out at the beginning of the year, and in like 8 short months have created a number of different things. And I think at last count, we're up to about 13 different products, different things on the go. What do you think have been the major reasons why we've been able to create such momentum and the number of products that we've created to launch into 2021 in the position that we're in now? Because if we can help other people do that, 2021 for them can be the same.
Well, I'll start with that one first. I think one of the things that's the strongest is that we have amazing teamwork and collaboration, and we have deep respect for each other. So when we have a team meeting and we have discussions, we know, we've learned, especially over the time that we've been working in this short time together, that each other's strengths and pockets of things that maybe need a tune-up or can be filled in with someone else. And so I think when I look at the people that we're working with, we love working with each other. Yeah. And so when you come in from a team that can work together well and you come in with the same intention and attention to what you're doing, I feel like once you do one thing together, it's infinite possibilities because you've learned how to do this well, how to do that well, and then things continue to morph certainly and grow, but then there's only possibilities.
Yeah.
And so, and the two of you especially are exceptional possibilitarians. You, if we even had like a 1 minute game where you said, what possibilities do you see for 2021? The two of you could easily come up with 100 things. I have no doubt of it. So I think that has been a really strong foundation for our success.
Thank you.
It's interesting that, you know, in 2021, I think there's a big opportunity for people to, because business is being done a little bit different now, or in my opinion it is. And I know that Vickie and I have had a number of conversations about this. And, you know, you can go out and you can start something on your own, or you can do something jointly with other people. And there's just this beautiful thing that happens when you can find the right people to do that thing with. So for those that listened to my show the other day, I was talking about, you know, it starts with what. So, you know, your what, your why, your who, your why, your how, your so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And very much everything that has unfolded in our company has very much been from that perspective. It's been like, well, what do we actually want to do? Who do we want to help? And because we've started with that, it's meant that when you're working together, like I said, that one of the things is the things have changed, because I think more and more people are going to come together and there'll be collaborative type joint ventures. But that joint venture works really well when you go through that process and you know that you've got the right people who are aligned with the right vision, with the right set of values, that highly respect one another, and that you work from that place of, well, what are we going to do? How are you going to actually impact the world? Who do you want to impact? And then everything else unfolds from that.
Mm-hmm. That's really true. I want to get down and dirty, though. Here's what I think the real reason is. Tracy and I met, we talked, and we thought, okay, we're going to co-CEO this company. And then we burnt the boats. That's it. We burnt the boats. But then when we turned around, we saw the bay, all the boats were burning. It wasn't just our boats, but we actually did one thing. We didn't wait till our boat caught flame and it was sinking into the ocean. We burnt it on purpose. What that means is we made it so dedicated that we were going in this direction, that we weren't ever coming back to the past, that we literally put our roots down and said, okay, we're going to work this. This is our company. We're doing this. We're doing that. And we burnt all our other choices. We just said no to everything else. And the thing is, when you find the thing that creates the passion purpose inside you, makes your soul wake up, like the projects we have and what we've done this year, you will burn it. And here's the thing also, there's been a lot of flexibility, because we'd have to turn a little bit, then pivot a little bit, then turn a little bit and pivot a little bit. And the flexibility and willingness. And I don't want to be shy about this. We're successful because some of us, like Tracy, worked till 2:30 in the morning last night. Robin, I can't tell you how many 1:30, 2:30 nights we've done getting this together. So I want to say we've got a great balance. We have absolutely incredible synergy. But the third thing we have work ethic, and big work ethic. And that's what I think has helped us be successful as well.
So if we, again, when we reflect back on some of the things that our learns that we've had over the last year, and how we can then help other people to have, that same level of success, what would we recommend they do? Like, does 2021 look like, from let's talk about influence and authority, because that's one thing that we have realized in this year, that you must grow your influence and your authority. And the thing that we have realized is that the playing field's been leveled, like the slate's been wiped clean in this pandemic situation.
That's right.
It has actually had some really positive impacts. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, particularly for women, because it's provided us with, this type of technology, meaning that, You don't have to wait for permission to speak from somebody else. You can literally click a button and be live and be speaking to millions of people, in a really, really quickly. So that, I think, has been a huge, huge game changer. And like I said, one of the things that we've realized is building your influence and authority, which we've been doing like consistently over. I know you've been doing it for, the last few years, Vic. And we've done this very specifically with a type of method that we've created, which has now got some really big momentum. And we're now starting to teach that with other people. So let's share with everybody what we've learned about influence and authority and why it is so important and how they can take advantage of some of the things that they can do in 2021.
I'm going to start with this time, because I think building influence starts for years. You build influence every day, whether you know it or not, like it or not, or want it or not. If you do it with some awareness, it becomes one of the central pieces of your business. And I have never stopped building influence. I've got like 30 books and these and that, but I manage my influence and authority as a department of my business. I don't think it's just something you can't create influence and authority just because you want to. It has to be planned. You have to do it correctly. You have to know why you're doing it, etc. The one thing that I think has helped me out more than, it's like you can have a lot of money, but if you have influence and authority, you have something that's more than money. More than money. And that piece of it right there is going to be the future, because what happened this year with this pandemic is all the fake people are out of business. And the last people standing, they are standing right now. And there is a lot of working harder than they've worked before and getting their message out. And it's how you get your message out in a world that is noisy, completely noisy. Hey, Robert, nice to see you on, buddy. Wowza, look at these powerful women. Thank you, we are. But it's getting your voice heard above that noise. How do you stand out in that crowd? That's the number one thing that has shifted this year, how you do it. And for me, the learning how to do it and being able to teach it to others is very fulfilling. And I think that's the how you do it is super important.
I think you've made a really good point there, Vic. And if I think back about building influence and authority, what I find a lot of people don't do, and this is whether you're in an entrepreneurial world or you are actually employed. The thing that you need to work on constantly is the brand of you. Mm-hmm. So who are you? What are you about? Being true to yourself. And I think when you are really true to who you are and you can stand in your own power and be authentically that, come with that is a level of authority and influence. And it's not it's not necessarily what you say that builds the influence and the authority. It's the way you hold yourself, the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way in which you express what the message that you're trying to convey. Sometimes it's all of those intangible things that often also create that level of influence and authority, but is magnetizing. So I know that I've spoken about that previously, even when I was in a job. I worked for a big corporation. Every time you front up somewhere and you're having a conversation or an interaction with somebody, you are creating your own brand, and with that brand becomes you're either adding to that brand through increasing your influence and authority, or you're retracting from it.
That's
so
right.
Every time you show up, like you were talking about, being aware of that and being very purposeful in what you do, but purposeful not to a point where you're mechanical about it, but you're just very aware that this is who I am. And it's interesting. We were also talking about a quote, and it was a quote by Michelle Obama. And this is something that we talk about in the She-Myth book that's coming out, which we'll tell you guys all about because it's some of the exciting stuff that's coming in 2021. But she talks about when they go low, you go high. So that's all
right.
about the set of standards that you hold. So
That's
even
right.
if it doesn't feel quite, you don't want to do it because that person wronged you, you're still going to do it. Why? Because that's about holding yourself to a high standard and doing what's right. So sometimes it's not always about doing, just doing things for the sake of doing it, but in your bones, when you feel that something's right to do, then you're able to make a really informed, a discerning decision about the action that you're going to take. So I think that's also, again, these are just some of the things that these are just reflections of mine over the last 12 months, things that I've thought about, things that I feel like I've even improved in. I'm very much more aware of who I am and what I want to be about. So, 2021, just personally for me, or 2020, I should say, has been a real year of growth. It's been a retreat, coming in of, working at home, cutting out a lot of stuff, travel and all those sort of fun things that sometimes can be a bit of a distraction, but really coming back to home base and doing the right things based on what Tracy wants and what Tracy feels is the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's an amazing momentum to move forward, and using that is a lot of personal growth. You're right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So 2021, what are we like, just in terms of predictions about what we think is going to happen in the world? Where do we think things are going? What opportunities lay ahead? And then let's share with everybody sort of some of the stuff that we're doing.
Vic, you're the predictor.
I know. I was going to say, is this a question to me?
You're the future.
Yeah.
You're the future.
So I think there's going to be, the next decade is going to be about the conscious business owner. And the reason I'm saying that right now doesn't, like, oh, conscious business, it's great. Yes, it is. But now there's a reason why conscious business is going to come up, and I'm going to call that blockchain. So I think the biggest disruptor over the next decade that is going to shatter a lot of old systems and create massively new opportunities to prosper, have a different career, have the life that you ever wanted. It's going to, take out corruption as blockchain. Blockchain is going to unearth all of the deceit and some of the other things that have been happening. And it's going to make a level opportunity for people who do business 100% the right thing to do in every moment. That blockchain is going to come and make an opportunity for you. But as well, there are new assets and new opportunities that are being made right now to have massive wealth. And I mean massive wealth without having to work yourself to death. And there are going to be new things that we are going to have to learn. It's going to be the decade of learning new skill sets. And so with just those three things, your life is definitely going to shift and transform. But here's the thing. Some of you out there aren't experiencing a great 2020. And to those people who have lost family members, or your house burnt down in the fires or blew over in the hurricane, and who are absolutely experiencing grief right now, who are thinking, oh my God, I never want to revisit 2020 again. I'm going to say, I don't blame you. I wouldn't blame you for that. But I want you to know, when you're reimagining or rebuilding, the technologies that we have right now can help you rebuild things faster. So in other words, in the old paradigm, in the old way, if your house burnt down and your town burnt down and your job burnt down and your bank burnt down and everything was gone, to rebuild that town may take 20 years. To rebuild right now with the technology we have, it might take you 3 years. At max 5 years, to have the same life that you had previously, because these things are here to make it help you have things faster, have things more stable. And yes, there's a learning curve. And I want to let you know, I'm really sorry. I know I speak for all of us when I say I'm so sorry for the loss you experienced this year. And there's still time to create the life that you want.
Absolutely. If I can jump in here, I'd love to share that some of the things that I found amazing this year were people stepping up to do things that they never thought they could do, or skills that they never developed because they didn't have the time, they were busy on their jobs. And when you looked at, like, I'm not a huge social media person. I spend, just enough time on it to do the things I need to do. But I was so impressed with things that people were so creatively dealing with, the pressures and the stressors. And they created some, oh goodness, all those squishy things that happened. It got me. But I found it so amazing, the amount of heart and soul that came out this year that has been hidden or wasn't expressed or was never dealt with. Pardon me, I didn't think I would lose my stuff in this, but I'm just one big squishy heart during the holidays. Anyway, I have been so impressed. And what I took out of that is when humanity is pressured to do something, no matter what the pressure point and the cause of it was, humanity steps up. Now, there can look like a lot of zaniness, and there can look like a lot of things that are not comfortable, because if you've ever done, like, I've done a lot of construction and rehabbing of properties and things like that, where you get in and the place is a disaster while you're trying to fix it up and renovate. But at the end, it's spectacular. And I feel like we're at that point where we're renovating, we're remolding, we're reshaping. We've had a chance to pause and reflect. What do we want? What do we want to look at? How do we want to go into 2021? And to me, that's like the most empowering opportunity. Like, for me personally, most of you, I'm in the background. Occasionally I come up when these guys invite me on, but my background, without going into 40 years of stuff, was an occupational therapist. And this year, when the state closed down, I made a promise and a commitment to my family that I would not go back to my job because it was high risk. And so I have completely remolded myself this year. I have learned more this 9 months than I had in my 5 years of college, my 40 years of being in my career. I mean, I've learned a lot of stuff. It has been amazing. And so I feel like I'm in a unique position to say it's time to reinvent yourself. You have those basic skills that will transfer everywhere. You have, like, I have authority and influence because of the kind of person that I am and the kind of therapist that I was. And people respect those things that I do, whether it's this, that, or the other thing, whatever those things are. I carry those into those new positions. And wherever you're coming from, you have, like, maybe you are the expert in your field. Fantastic. We need you. We need people who are going to look at what is now, kind of think of what is going to be next year or the year after, or 5 years from there, but help people to blend and transition and move forward. We don't want to get stuck here. We want to move forward. So Absolutely. I'm sorry, that was probably the most I talked in a year.
No, thank you, Robert. And you've done an amazing job this year too, at just like taking that on board and just running with it. Nothing phases you. So I appreciate you being part of our team and the conversation. That you and I have. I really value you as part of this team. You reminded me of actually of the beginning of this year, and this is probably one of the, I want to say, sad and ugly things. So I talked about Maya. Some of you might know that I now live in Australia, but my home is New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand, brought up there. I have a lot of family members still back in New Zealand. And I'm not gonna go down that path of opening up the floodgates either, Robert Helm. But I will tell the story as best as I possibly can. But the beginning of this year, Robin talked about, utilizing the skill set that you have. And sometimes we have to pivot and we have to try things in different areas. Now, this is not necessarily me pivoting and, creating a new business in a new, in a new industry or anything like that. But it's certainly about utilizing the skills that I have, the technology that is, at our fingertips now, to actually be part of something that my family were not going to be able to be part of. And it was a really sad situation. So earlier this year, my husband's grandfather passed away. And so that was in about April. And normally our family would have just packed everything up as soon as we heard that moment that he wasn't very well. We would have just packed up and gone home. But at this time, we weren't able to do that because COVID meant that everything was shut down. There's no movement anywhere. So I know that when Vickie says, you're reaching out to families, there are families out there that haven't seen one another for, a long time because of this situation. So anyhow, we pretty much got news. I think it might have been 2 weeks that we had where we were saying goodbye to him through technology, and using whatever technology we could to be close, because our family is extremely close and we would normally have been right there and we weren't able to be. So what that meant was that because the vast majority of our families here in Australia, nobody could get home. That meant watching John's grandmother carry his grandfather out of the funeral home, where normally all of his strapping grandsons would have been there, holding his casket and taking him to his final resting place. But we couldn't do that. So we had to do whatever we could. So using technology, just using the technology to get us close. We use the technology to record every single person in our family's final words to him so they could be streamed through a live stream at that time. And when I thought about, putting all of that together, did I ever think it would have as big an impact on the family as it actually did? No, I just thought, well, this is technology. This is what we can do. It would be nice if we could do that. But I can tell you that the 4 people that were present at his funeral that day, his grandmother, John's mother, his aunt, and his stepfather, they were the only 4 people at a man's funeral that should have had hundreds and hundreds of people there. That meant the world to them. It meant that we were in the room with them at that time. So the purpose of me telling this story is that this 2020 year, with all of the crap and shit that it has thrown at people, there are opportunities laying within that. And even if you think it would be nice to be able to do this for somebody, it would be nice if I could do that. That if it would be nice if could actually change somebody's life. It makes a massive difference to how somebody feels. It makes a massive difference. And that us doing that meant that funeral home actually picked that whole scenario up and is actually now had been using that to enable other family members to be close to their loved ones in their time of grief. So there's little things like that we just need to be thinking about. So if you're sitting out there now, think about the things, the good, the bad, the ugly that has happened in this last 12 months, and think about it from a perspective of, if I could do something about that, if I could make a difference to somebody else's life with that, and you feel passionate enough about it, there is a business idea in that, but bigger than that, there is an impact that you can make. There is a change that you can make in this world, and you can make a very big difference. If it comes down to money, then you might find some partners to help you do it. If it comes down to know-how, get yourself a coach and some mentors that can help you bring it to fruition. Because like Robin just said, the world needs more people like you to make a difference. And 2021, the floodgates are going to open. They are opening now. You can get yourself out there and you can make a difference to somebody's life in 2021. And the time to do it is to start thinking about it over the Christmas break. and get it, start the momentum and make it happen in 2021.
Yeah, it's interesting when you were just sharing, both of you sharing. This year, I think the thing that I learned the most, that I deepened the most, is in my gratitude. I'm super, super blessed. And I may not know everything about God or how perfect God is or anything else, but I just know he spends a lot of time looking after Vickie Helm. And the other thing that really, really helped me was surrender. And surrender not in a weak way, surrendering to what is happening without judging it, but exploring it in a way. In other words, exploring the options, just like you did, like your family. I know how much they mean to you and how much you guys mean to each other. Family's everything in your house. It's a very, very strong family bonds. And there's a lot of that going on where families couldn't be together, where they're long, and they're experiencing that during this holiday season. They're experiencing that, or they're experiencing, oh my God, we got together for Thanksgiving and that was really great. No, my family was lucky, nothing happened, or wow, somebody in my family got COVID. We don't know what's happening there. Some of the choices that we've made, surrendering to what is, not in a way where you're surrendering your freedom or surrendering that, but surrendering to just what's here now. What is here now? What opportunities are here now? And it was a time where my awareness and my mindfulness took a different, vast expansion. Like I saw things differently because the pandemic helped us see things differently. I saw how grateful I am that the supply chain didn't break so hard when I wanted a new pair of shoes, and I actually got a new pair of shoes. You know what I mean? There was some gratitude there that I'm so thankful for, because I know there's hardships everywhere. And so what I learned to do was count my blessings.
Yeah. But also, I think the other thing I've learned to do is to trust. Not that I didn't trust before, but really trust that it's going to be okay. It will be okay. And that sense of gratitude, of knowing that when John was looking, my husband was looking yesterday at flights, because our airlines now are starting to open up flights back and forth to New Zealand. And we were like, as soon as they open, man, we are booking that flight and we're going home. And we, will appreciate and we will cherish those moments so much more, because you don't know what's going to happen. I never knew that when the last time we went to New Zealand, that would be the last time we would see him alive. That would be the last time we would ever go to their, family home. None of those things. You don't know that. So you have to just be present, and just enjoy the moment that you're in. Every moment that you have, it counts. And when you I suppose I have this motto that every time somebody deals with me, I want to leave them in better shape than when they came to me. I want them to feel like they had a great experience, that when they jump on the show, they enjoy being here. So just, I'm going to turn up and be here for 5 minutes, but they actually truly, they are being here, being present, joining in, even though they may not necessarily be conversing with me, but they're joining in the conversation, whether it's verbally or just in their own heads. I'm having a conversation with somebody else in the hope that I can change just one person's life, make a difference to that person at every single show. So I'm just looking at what has Karen got here. She's saying that I thought 2020 was going. So she's saying, I love Robert Stern's image from a few weeks ago. I thought 2020 was going to be a year I got what I wanted, but instead it was the year I got what I was grateful. It was the year I was grateful for what I had. Absolutely.
Yes. I loved that one too, Robert. I don't know if he's still on, but I really liked that one as well.
I mean, the interesting thing is, isn't it? You realize that in a situation like that, how much you actually need. And as humans, we don't really need a lot. You don't need fancy cars, fancy houses, and all of those things. Those are not the things that make somebody happy. I mean, this year I have watched multiple friends of mine in wider groups who have all the money they could possibly ever want, but their marriages are failing, their relationships are breaking down, their health is breaking down. So on the Unlock show, we talk about all things, every part of that. It's a holistic approach to life, and it's living your life unlocked, where nothing's holding you back, where you feel really comfortable in your own skin. You're prepared to make hard choices and pivot where you need to, so that you can live the best life you possibly can in every area.
Right.
There are times where these guys jump on a meeting in the morning, and my grandkids are here.
I love that.
Right. In the morning. But that's the way that I've designed my life. That's how I want it. I want them to be part of it. I wanted a business where I could, if I have to, have them for the day. I want to have them for the day. I want to teach them how to ride their bike and swim in the pool and all of those sort of things. So, but that's just me. That's the way that I've designed my life, so that I can enjoy and experience all of those things, because those are the things that mean the most to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I think that's really important, that you do some work on what's really important to you, and you start to actually design your life around that.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, we've got some fun stuff that we want to share about what's happening in 2021. So, guys, this is actually the last show for Unlocked of this year. I asked both Vickie and Robin to share this, final show with me, because we also wanted to thank everybody for watching the Unlocked show. I can't even remember what number show this is, 70 something.
I think it's 70.
I think it actually is 70. So started back in April, I believe, and it's been going every single week religiously, twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday for 70 shows. And I'm going to be back again in 2021. The next show will be airing on the 13th. So it'll be Wednesday, the 13th of January will be the first show of Unlocked in 2021. Who knows what I'm going to talk about? Some amazing stuff that's happening over the next little while. But let's tell everybody what we've got in store for them in 2021. Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life group is going to continue to grow. We'll have more shows being put on the platform, all to do with how to thrive across your business, your family, and your life. We are a holistic channel and network that will bring to you some awesome shows with some really great hosts in 2021. So keep your eyes peeled for them. We'll tell you more details about that. Tell everybody about the She-Myth book, Vic, and when that's coming out and what's happening with it.
Thank you. My amazing co-CEO and I wrote a book, and we created a program to empower women past the stories that have been holding them back, and giving them incredible business development tools that will help them catalyze their business, catalyze their success, and help them really stand up in the world and to stake their claim about their life and what they want, which is coming out January 1st. The 11th of January. The 11th of January, that book comes out. And I'm really excited about this book. It is a game changer. I mean, an absolute game changer. One of the best books that I think out of the 30 something books that we've written, this one's really, really perfect. But there's secrets inside this program that goes with the book, secrets that are so powerful to moving your business forward through these kinds of interesting times that we're moving through. We also have, can I tell them more, or, do you have this?
Go for it.
So
Yeah,
I want to tell you that right now we have spent over a year talking about the most important skill sets that you're going to need to help you thrive over the decade. And we have the guests and experts coming to both shows. The Coffee Break show, I'm blown away by how many of these guests are here. But my point is this: a lot of people in the world are going to turn out and try to spend 20, 30, 40,000 a year on mentors and coaches. when the information that you would get from these mentors and coaches, you can watch these shows with these experts and get it for free. And the past shows of the Unlocked, they're already in there. And if you watch the genius, the absolute sheer genius of these people that come on and share what they are going to talk about, we've had cybersecurity experts, health experts, wellness experts. We've had business experts. We have the top of the top here. You could probably get better coaching here than I think most anywhere else. And the program that has been developed, which is the influence and authority method, that program itself is probably the most transformational program that you can have to help you through your whole life. Not, I was going to say next decade, but if you really think about it, it's your whole life. So we have so many exciting things that are coming out. I want to be able to blurt them all, but then, it's not that time. And I think that's what I have to share right now. I'm really biting my tongue right now about how awesome next year is going to be.
Yeah. So we'll have some more stuff coming out. So pretty much there's something new every quarter. Like we said, we're going to have some, great. So this channel. So if you go to the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life group on Facebook, it is not your regular group. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands it's not like you're going to come to a group and we're teaching one specific thing. It's actually a network of people who have multiple shows running in that group on a regular basis, and we'll be building that out to have more and more shows inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life group throughout 2021. Like I said, covering all things related to thriving throughout your business, your family, and your life, because all of them are important, and they all build. They're all part of the jigsaw puzzle of life and the life of you. So it's important that we cover all of them.
I want to say one thing as well while we're talking about all this good stuff. I want to put a shout out right now to Karen Sachs-Epley, who is our executive producer. And the reason her picture and her aren't here is because she's in the back running the show and doing what she does best. And I want to say to you, Karen, that you have been amazing the last couple of months. I've seen you do miracles, and I just want to say thank you for your efforts. And I know that when I speak for everyone, that you have just absolutely impressed me this year, especially the last quarter of this year, a lot. And I want to say thank you for being you and being here with us.
Thank you for bringing that up. Karen does definitely deserve that public recognition, because she has done some amazing stuff. And I thank you a lot, for what you do for me, Karen. So thank you for that. So let's wrap this show up. I feel like, oh wait, there's more. But wait, there's more.
But when you talk about quarters, you folks are so excited about next year. I want to say we still have one more thing before the end of this year, which is my pet baby, which I mean, it was a definite team effort, but I have really, for some reason, just sunk my teeth into this project, and it's called the Freedom Seekers Journal.
Thank you.
And
yeah.
I really, really, really I'm excited. I'm going to put a link in when we wrap up, because the thing about this isn't just a journal where you're writing down your thoughts and maybe your goals. This is a life-altering, transformational product that combines, we've joint ventured with Brad Yates, the tapping master. And this is the kind of a program that could take you from zero to hero in 3 months, in 6 months. This is something that will impact, I won't go into the neurophysiology, but the science behind it is super compelling, well-versed, well-researched. And so we've combined the genius, the creativity of doing the benefits of journaling with the tapping program. And this is something that I think you guys definitely have to take a look at. So we're actually launching that right after Christmas.
Yeah,
Because
that,
it's
that
amazing.
journal is interactive. It's not you
Yes.
write in there and it's an interactive journal. It's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased you mentioned that, Robin, because that particular, like, I want to go back and actually tell everybody about how that came about, because originally it was going to be we were thinking about just writing a book on tapping, right? And we were like, actually, how awesome, here's where that how awesome would it be comes in, right? So it would be nice if, so we went through that process. How awesome would it be if we actually had some sort of journal? Like, we know that those that write in, like, have a diary, you get organized, you get a lot of momentum, and you are going to be way more successful if you manage yourself in that manner. Then we went, well, actually, if we did that and we then overlaid that with, made it interactive by utilizing, that psychology method of tapping, the actual combining the two of those together, how much more impactful could we make that? And then we went even further again and said, well, what do people want to, in terms of like interacting with something, what do people want to do today? Well, they want to interact. We want to bring something, physical like this, like a book. We want to bring that to life. So exactly, that's a great example of actually what has happened in this last year and what is possible when you start thinking about what ifs. How could we? What if we were able to do it that way? And then all of a sudden, the product, the service, the whatever it is that you want to do can slowly but surely come to life. That is an amazing journal. It looks and interacts really well, and it is actually going to help people improve their life in health, wealth, and relationships. Yes. So if as Robin says, after today's show, we'll make sure that we put a link in there so that you guys can go away and get on the waiting list to get yourself one of those books. But everything that we create, it all dovetails into one another. So those that are wanting to do the Influence and Authority program, which, as Vickie has already stated, it is an amazing program. If you want to get a show up and running, building your influence in 2021, that is the program for you to do. And if you want to take it to the next level, you couple that program with the Freedom Seekers Journal. You put that in with it. Now you're going to get exponential growth. And then if you want to take it the next level and you want to really fine tune your business discernment, your business acumen, then, and you're a woman, then you would also purchase the She-Myth, both the She-Myth book and the Share Success program that goes with that. Every one of those come together to take you from within one level to the next level to the next level. And then we round it out with even how to build out an online program and actually teach teach your expertise, which will be coming in the second quarter of next year. So lots and lots coming out of Team Metadym's little factory, and we're hoping that you guys will enjoy.
So much more to tell you.
Yeah, hoping that you guys will enjoy actually using them and interacting with them as much as we've enjoyed creating and making them and bringing them to you. So 2 things: Freedom Seekers Journal, which is already in the already there. Karen Sachs-Apley has already put it into the chat for you if you want to go check that out. And the second is the Influence and Authority method. I mean, I'm a bit biased because we've created it, but it truly is an amazing program. We've hold nothing back. We teach you everything that you need to know to start building your influence and authority and creating a really powerful show that connects your authority, connects with your audience, and creates exposure for you, and connects it to your offer if you have one right now. And if you don't, well, we also help you to kind of come up with a concept around what you could be offering as part of your show. So with that in mind, I'm going to say thank you so much to both Vickie and Robin. I value these women so much. I absolutely love working with them. And we look forward to bringing you some more exciting stuff as far as shows, books, programs are concerned in 2021. So thank you so much for watching The Unlocked Show. I'm Tracy Wilson, and I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas from my home to yours. So go ahead and live your life unlocked, because in 2021, if you've heard me say there is just no other way, now's the time to make your move, start sharing your message, and start changing the world. Thanks for watching. I'll be back in January. See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Let's see if we can do this. Let's rock this out with the final piece, because I'm going to put some music on, and sometimes it doesn't always work the way that I want it to work, and that's some of the, like technology crap that goes on, but you just get on with it. So you'll just like watch me stunned on here for a moment until I push this button and the music comes on. See you guys.